was asked to make a quick video on my 2x72 that I built, and so I'm going to do that now. So what I've got here is a treadmill motor that I ripped out of a treadmill. It's a nice big 5 horsepower monster Ballard electric motor, and that thing is a behemoth. It's huge. And then for my controller, basically you do the variable speed and to switch to a direct drive is this controller here. And I had to get a specific resistor for the motor, but I bought this used, and then I bought a heatsink, and I got this off of eBay. But it's pretty nice. You can turn it on, and then it's got variable speed and fairly decent torque. And it will spin right up. Now, as you can see, this is made out of receiver tube, basically, and both the male portion of the receiver tube and the female portion. So this is the bottom piece here is what holds my my material rest. I made it adjustable here. This piece I'm satisfied with. It's definitely, the problem with this stuff is it's got some play. So in order to shore it up, you need to do some. I drilled holes and then welded bolts onto it. So let me remove that piece. And then this right here is my the piece that I am most disappointed in, and that is the belt guide. As you can see sitting here, when I release it, there's a spring that sits in the bottom of here, and I welded this closed. Now I'll pull this out here in a second and show you. But it's got an awful lot of play, and so when you go to work on it, since it's got so much play, this thing wobbles back and forth. So I'm going to remove the belt. And then this comes right out. You can see I've welded a cap on the end. And then my friend over at Mark's Makes, I sent him some material and he machined this guide wheel. The guide wheel itself is fine. The issue with the guide wheel, from my perspective, is there's too much play in this between here, and then what I've got going on here, and I'll have to loosen it. I've got a lock nut, but this bolt here pushes through and either lifts or lowers that. And I've got this angle off. I've got this angle right here on this pivot offset a little bit so it can swing down. Now, Mark went ahead and he machined these off for skateboard bearings that I had shipped to him when I purchased them. The problem with those skateboard bearings for me is, one, this axle in here is pretty small. It's, I don't know, probably a quarter at the most, maybe a little over a quarter. But the problem is I blow through these bearings awfully quick. So I've got some more bearings. They're actually coming tomorrow that are going to be bigger, and I'm going to remachine these. This will be one of my projects for my new lathe. And I'll make, I'm using bolts as axles. The problem with bolts as axles, all bolts have a little bit of a taper to them. So there's some inconsistency. I shouldn't say all, but bolts that you buy from the farm store do. So there's that piece. When I rebuild this, which I will rebuild it, I will do a little better job of making these. And I'm going to make it with tighter tolerances than what I have. So this headpiece, again, these wheels, this is actually parts off of out of a hydraulic ram. You can listen, those bearings are shot in that already. Again, it's the same size nut and bolt and same skateboard bearings. So this piece, pull it out. It's got some play in there as well, but I can push that down. And what I've done here is I've reinforced this and welded this up to fit that for these bearings. Still quite a bit of play in these wheels. And then the plenum on the back is adjustable too as well. And then I've got on this piece, I've got some adjustments at 45s and whatnot. So this whole thing can actually be pivoted on that. But overall, it's been a great workhorse, but I think now that I've owned one, quickly slip this back together here. Now that I've owned one for a while, I certainly am more than ready to make some changes and possibly build a new one. I have not decided 100%. I think it's okay to use this tube, but probably want to weld this up to the specific dimensions with maybe like a piece of aluminum foil or a couple pieces of aluminum foil as a shim. I've seen that on YouTube, so it's not an original idea. But in essence, lined everything up. Back here in the back, those holes are oversized, so I can twist and turn and manipulate and get that lined up. So overall, super tool I love to use, but it can certainly be better. This one probably would fall in the category if I had to purchase one of this quality, probably $700-800. A really nice one, and that I'm kind of jonesing for making is one that can flip on the side. And I may do that. I don't know if I'll get that complicated, or at least remake this one to where it can flip on its side. But for now, that's a tour of my 2x72 belt grinder. It certainly will hog off some metal. I added this down here as a little vacuum thing, and of course you want to do metallic, because this gets hot when you're hogging off the steel, and it'll really go to town. Then I've got it going out, but that's for a different video. But anyway, that's my 2x72 belt grinder that I made. My friend in Texas kind of turned me on to the 2x72. I honestly don't know how I lived this long without this tool. I'm not a knife maker, but boy, it has replaced a ton of tools, and I go through probably, I would say, fewer belts than I did stones on a grinder. So anyway, that's that. And so signing off for now. Y'all have a good evening.